There's a young man that I met for the first time at the Foreign Missions Club in London. His name is Martin, and he was a lecturer in theology at a Bible school in the UK. He sensed God was calling him to go to West Africa and train nationals. And when he got there, he found that the only way he could really do this was with a TEE program, Theological Education by Extension. He did a whole series of correspondence courses, but his big problem was getting the papers out to the remote villages and contacting the people to follow up on the answers that they gave to his questions and so forth. But when he came to the partnership training course at the Foreign Missions Club in London, this was the big thing that preoccupied him. After the first day on the course, he came to me and said, now, I see the value of all this partnership stuff, but the question I really am struggling with is communicating with people who are in very isolated places, trying to get my TEE program operating. Have you got any suggestions for me? So I said, do you know who else is doing TEE work in the country where you're working? He said, no, as a matter of fact, I don't. I could find out, I guess. So I said, well, if you did that, you might be able to find that they've got some creative solutions. I've never been involved in this kind of work. I just develop partnerships. But if you were to talk to some of the people who are doing a similar kind of ministry, you might find that that's helpful. Well, he stayed through the rest of the course and went home with that advice very much in his mind. He wrote to me later and said that he'd been around, he'd spent a whole of his first month back in West Africa visiting the Bible colleges, theological seminaries, and asking if people were doing TEE. He found that there were 12 others within the country who were doing exactly the same kind of work. And he even discovered that some of them had contacts in some of the same towns and villages that he was trying to communicate to. And after a while, they set up a fellowship, the Fellowship of Distance Learning, where all of the people involved in TEE were getting together on a regular basis, talking about the problems, sharing out the communication issues, and even using the same courier to deliver their materials. And after 2 or 3 years, this actually developed to the place where they were running a very consistent curriculum across the whole board, and everyone was using the same basic materials tweaked according to their own particular emphases. But all of that grew out of the fact that one young man took the trouble to make contact with everybody else who was involved in a similar ministry in a similar area.